Good jump, Jalapeno. That was a good jump. I think Mama wants to make the jump. She says, scoot that boot. Hello, everyone. Happy Friday. I see Ava and Jalapeno getting right to business, enjoying some tuna enrichment that's been scattered on their skywalks. Bobby Hughes is watching. Hey, Bobby. Let's see who else is here. Damaris is watching. Hey, Damaris. Linda coming in with the first comment. Hey, Linda. Hope you're doing well today. Happy Friday to you. Happy Friday to the rescues at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Cynthia Boatwright saying, good morning. Hey, Cynthia. She is Louise. I went back and listened to the audio from my live post yesterday. I'm virtually yelling at you guys. I need to bring my microphone a little bit lower on my shirt. There we go. Get a little too overzealous sometimes, don't I, Ava and Jalapeno? Good morning, Maria Vaughn. Chris Monty, 50 stars. Thank you for that, Chris. Very much appreciated. Especially since that darn donate button's not working for us on our Facebook live posts. So those stars are the only way that we can monetize our live posts, and certainly something that's important to us. So thank you for that. Nathan Phillips saying hello to Jamie. Maria Smith. Hi, beautiful place. Thank you for that, Maria. Beautiful place with some certainly beautiful cats. This is Ava and the Peppers. That's Jalapeno hopping along here. We know that Chili is in our quarantine area. Chili having that amputation surgery, which means we've had to kind of interject and make sure that he's been recovering properly, and he can do that in our quarantine area. And we would have read an update about Mr. Chili yesterday, and that leaves Jalapeno, who I have zoomed in on here, along with his mother, Ava, and then Serval Bell, who's we'll probably catch a glimpse of here soon enough. We know that Bell can be a little bit more on the timid side, and that's totally okay here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. But not only, are we going to be hanging out with Ava and the Peppers. Claude and Benson had some enrichment placed for them, so hopefully we can catch a glimpse of those two special boys, as well as Enzo and Athena. Amanda Peters saying, finally caught alive. We're glad to have you, Amanda. Hinata saying, ooh, Servals. That is right, Hinata. Hanging out with some of the mediums today. So far, so good with the internet, everyone. And if things kind of seem like it's a good internet day, I'll definitely be able to kind of sprawl out a little bit more. I know we haven't been up to Small Cat Track, where a majority of our rescued servals live. So perhaps we can go over there and get us some medium cat time in today. Hey, Naomi Gerhard from Rhode Island. Beautiful part of the country. Hey, Terry Newborn. Checking in, wishing us a happy Friday, and thank you for that, Terry. And checking in from Calgary in Canada. And if you didn't realize, these are actually Canada cats. Ava and the Peppers were seized from a breeder of servals in Canada. And it wasn't till there was an investigation into this breeder to where some of the kittens that this person was selling sold a kitten with a broken pelvis, 2 broken legs. And from there, an investigation was opened on the place that was breeding these cats, selling cats like Ava and the Peppers here for $8,000 a pop. And upon that investigation, it revealed that the cats involved in that breeding facility were living in absolutely horrible condition. Ava and the Peppers were found in a backyard trailer that was dilapidated and pretty much falling apart at the seams. Reeked like urine, was covered in feces, and is no condition for any animal, let alone a wild animal, to be living. And Ava, unfortunately, coming to us with a plate already put in her leg. And when these breeders are keeping these cats, they're not giving them the proper diet to help them develop those kind of strong bones that they need. And Ava, suffering from metabolic bone disease, passing that down to Chili, giving him genetic metabolic bone disease. we can look at a lot of our rescued servals, and they're suffering from metabolic bone disease, and it all stems from that inadequate diet when those servals are young kittens, and is always stands as the biggest indication to these breeders that they're in it for profit and nothing more. They're not in it for the cats. Well, what are you doing, Mr. Benson? He says, I'm climbing up high. Yeah. So glad I got to say hi to Terry Newborn from Canada, because that just made me remember that these guys were an international case. And you guys also know with international cases, well, we're looking at Benson now, but Ava and the Peppers. You also know with international cases that the paperwork is a very long process, and is something that we're here to work closely with those authoritative bodies to make sure that the cats involved are getting proper placement. And we're happy that we were able to say yes to Ava and the Peppers. And typically, you know, in the wild, a mom isn't going to be living with her kittens. They're obviously going to mature and then, you know, set out on their own. So a little out of the ordinary to see a serval family still living here together, but nonetheless happy that we do get to create an actual kind of family unit with this group. Hey, Chris Monty, what an awesome comment, saying, love your sanctuary. Thanks for being a legit rescue and always doing what's best for the cats. Thank you, Chris. And surely that's something that I think is awesome, that you guys are able to identify that within the Wildcat Sanctuary. It means that we're doing our jobs right. And that's exactly that. We're here for the cats. We're here for their best interest. And we're happy you get to identify that, Chris, and you get to take part in lending that support so we can continue to make that possible. He says, a little tuna on the rock, don't mind if I do. And this is Benson the Bobcat. Benson is a wild-born Bobcat who now calls TWS his forever home. We're home to a handful of wild-born cats that for one reason or another weren't able to live a wild life, whether they were orphaned as young kittens or unfortunately, like some cats, picked up out of the wild to be kept as a pet until those people realize that owning a bobcat is not a good idea. Benson, we know, lives with Claude the bobcat, and I'm going to kind of sneak along here, and Claude, being a wild-born bobcat as well, he's very calculated in how he presents himself, and if he hears people around, he can be a little sensitive. So I'm just kind of scrolling around and looking for some of Claude's favorite hangout spots. I'm going to go around to the other side because Enzo and Athena are getting some tuna enrichment as well. Save some for Mr. Claude, Benson. He says, you know I always do. Let me stop right here on Ava and the Peppers for just a second. Ellen Simmons saying, just joined, you were early. Sorry about that, Ellen. Friday feels got the best of me. I'm having a good day, and caretakers wrapped up with their cleaning and placing their enrichment, and we just gotta go. And so far, so good with the service, everyone. Glad that we're able to have a kind of coherent live post today. Makes me optimistic to when we head over to Small Cat Track. Oh, look at these two special kitties. And so we were just looking at two wild-born bobcats who call the Wildcat Sanctuary their forever home, and now we're looking at two wildcats, or two bobcats, excuse me, that came from private ownership. Both Athena, who's up high there on that the highest level, stepping down now. Athena and both Enzo being surrendered from private owners, and it's definitely something where you're kind of. I think Enzo is kind of a good example in that many of our cats coming from private ownership. Enzo with this big old bobcat tail. Yeah, what are you doing, Goofy? Cat in a box, he says. Come on, ever heard of it? But Enzo, for many of the cats that are coming to us from private ownership, oftentimes they are declawed. And Enzo is unfortunately an example of that. He is front paw declawed, often in an attempt to make a bobcat like Enzo a more suitable house pet, but we know that that's just not the case. If you're taking away the things that make a bobcat, then to me that's really just says you didn't want a bobcat in the first place. But a little bit of harmony between Enzo and Athena. Admittedly, Athena kind of rules the roost around here. Girls rule. And kind of keeps Mr. Enzo in check. These guys obviously get along, and I kind of say that in a endearing and joking way. But Enzo, he can be a little bit of a, he can be a, very zealous a lot of the times, and a very excited cat. And Athena, who's a little bit more level-headed and calm, she says, "Hey, now let's just take it down a couple notches, Mr. Enzo." So it's a great companionship that these two have created. Athena, you've lived with a handful of bobcats here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. I always need Tammy to remind me of all the cats that you've lived with. But certainly, kind of coming off the news of Bruno and Fiona, and just kind of looking at a lot of our rescued residents here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, is that companionship is important to us, and we definitely do want to offer that to cats who would benefit from it. And Enzo's definitely one of those cats, and we're happy that he has found a friend. Yeah, Mr. Goofy. Scrolling through a few comments here. Yeah, and I can't blame people on getting hung up on the fact that a bobcat like Enzo is declawed, and we have servals that are declawed. We've had big cats even that are declawed, tigers, cougars. Again, all in a feeble attempt to make these wild animals quote unquote safe. And it's just absolutely tragic that they're mutilating these animals in the process. But definitely something that's it's here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, we're ready to kind of step in and make sure. Well, you missed that jump, Goofy. Are you okay? He says, "Yeah, I'm fine. I bounce right back." Is that cats, I think Tao, for example, Tao being four-paw declawed, she was also overweight, is, we're not going to idly sit by when we know that a cat has been kind of physically altered like that. So, for example, Tao, we're going to give her a pain management plan to help with some of the arthritis that stems from that four-paw declaw. And then we know that Tao had that big kind of weight loss and big turnaround with her physique, which is certainly going to help prevent some of that arthritis occurring in her geriatric years as well. Coming back to see if I can see Mr. Claude. I still see Benson rooting around. Hoping everybody's enjoying their Friday here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Just lost Benson into the thickets of his habitat here. We've been doing some tuna enrichment for Ava and the Peppers. Gosh, and they've even kind of scoured their habitat. I'm wondering where they are. Doing some tuna enrichment and really just enjoying a lovely Friday here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Talking about Ava and the Peppers' story, about them being seized from a backyard breeder in Canada who is selling servals like Ava and the Peppers for $8,000 a pop. Yowzer. Got to talk a little Wildborn with Claude and Benson. This is a really good kind of educational corner here now that I'm realizing it. And got to talk a little about some of our Wildborn rescues. And then we got to talk about some of our cats that have been surrendered by private owners who formerly owned them as pets. So a very educational post for us. And that's certainly one thing we pride ourselves on here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, is the more that we can share, the more we can educate, the more we can spread the word about what's happening across the world with these captive wildcats, the sooner we are going to put an end to this cruelty, Mr. Enzo. Is that some tuna that fell way down there? Oh, that's Athena. There's Enzo. Be nice, kitty cats. Meeting of the minds here. Enzo does a great job of helping reinforce some of the safety training I teach the media interns when they join us here at the Wildcat Sanctuary. Enzo is very athletic, very fast, and is one of those cats that in a blink of an eye can be up on his perch at a distance and then boom, right at that habitat wall. So always, always, always remaining vigilant with all of our rescues and particularly cats like Mr. Enzo. Is it tuna? Is it some stinkies, Athena? I just don't know. Oh, brother. That's good, that's good. Well, you keep on enjoying it, Missy. We're going to take a leap of faith, everyone, and walk over to Small Cat Track and see how the internet goes for us there. We're going to slowly make our way over there just in case it does go down the tube that we've seen some cats before that. Are you coming back to help her find that tuna, Mr. Enzo? He says, yes, sirree. No tuna left unfound at the Wildcat Sanctuary. That's how it goes. And again, I mean, kind of, we don't want to normalize it, but you see us do this a lot, and that tuna enrichment it's awesome because it's now is Athena and Enzo, they're going to be kind of noodling on where this tuna is, if there's going to be any more of that tuna, and they're going to be scouring their habitat. They're going to be jumping up and down their platforms and perches. So, we kind of see the momentary enrichment process of it where they're coming up and picking it up and eating it, but now Enzo and Athena, they know there's treats in there, and they're kind of going to be noodling on that and perusing their habitat for a good portion of the day, which is awesome to see. I'm going to try to catch a few comments. Tanya Toner asking, how is Shrek doing? Well, that's a great question, Tanya. And as a matter of fact, I just rendezvoused with one of our sponsorship volunteers, and an update on Shrek is going out today. It should be received by all of Shrek's sponsors by the end of the weekend. And so Shrek does have some exciting news pertaining to him, but I'm going to keep my lips sealed until we can share on social media next week once his sponsors have been updated. Making a quick pit stop by Sky and Celine. Oftentimes, if caretakers go back into the building, then that means the cats might follow them. So I think that's what's happened here. So we're going to go across the way and check in on some of our other resident servals. Any fun weekend plans, TWS followers? I hate to even think about it, but it's August, and summer, it's not going to last forever, folks. So get those kind of fun summer activities in while you can, or at least for us here in Minnesota, where really autumn kind of checks in kind of at the end of August, early September. So hoping everybody has some fun and exciting weekend plans. Sounds like a lot of the TWS folk are going to be checking out the Pine County Fair in Pine City, which will be exciting. And you always have to give me a moment when I come on to one of our free roaming habitats, because there's a lot of space in here, and there's 4 servals in this habitat. But man alive, do we give them lots of places to seek shade and kind of just get out of the way of things. And with Lizzy, hey Miss Lizzy, yeah, looks like things got a little bumpy, folks, but we've made our way to Serval Lizzy, enjoying her time in the grass here. Oops. And it may just be one serval, but you can see the aftermath of where most likely Bosco, Nunda, and Phoenix were partnered up with Lizzy there, kind of flattening out the grass and creating a big old serval cuddle puddle. Yeah, it looks like we did have a little connection drop there. Janet Davis saying nothing exciting this weekend, but last Saturday we were there at TWS for a volunteer crew day. Well, Janet Davis, that's awesome. I'm sure they're putting you to work, as we always do with our volunteers, and that volunteer work it ain't easy, and it is so much appreciated. So thank you, Janet, and hopefully you got to say hi to some of the cats during your tour at the end of the day too. So off Lizzy goes. I'll kind of zoom out so you guys can share in the woes of the TWS photographer. Well, how do you even find a cat when they're in there? You can see Lizzy's just kind of a dot on the left-hand side of the frame. And Bosco, Phoenix, and Lizzy, or Bosco, Phoenix, and Nunda, excuse me, kind of dispersed amongst their habitat here. All right, everyone, we are going to head this way, and things might mean poor internet connection. So just bear with me. If things get a little glitchy, just hold on 1 second and I'll make a U-turn. Hopefully we'll be able to catch Aurora, maybe even Buddy the Bobcat, or Kisa Marie the Lynx. Not seeing Aurora. Aurora is pretty darn excited to have Kisa Marie as a neighbor, I can tell you that much. There you are. Sorry about the service. Kisa Marie being our oldest Eurasian lynx. This pretty lady would have joined us. She is Miss Kisa Marie about a month and a half ago. It was Saving Seniors. Myself and caretaker Elise embarked to rehome Kisa Marie and Buddy from Ohio. This was a person who owned a wildlife facility, and Kisa Marie were well cared for, received veterinary care, had a proper living space, and due to a kind of change in life circumstances, this person needed to surrender their cats to TWS and knew that they'd be coming to a compassionate forever home. So glad to see Kisa Marie strutting her stuff. We know that Kisa Marie is 21 years old, so she's obviously a little bit older. So we're working on getting her on a weight management plan so we can help her drop some of that weight, so we can get her comfortable and make sure she's not hurting from any type of arthritis. And Mr. Buddy has been enjoying himself too. And Buddy and Kisa Marie did not live together prior to their rescue. And given both of their ages, we're just not wanting to try these two together out of fear of it just being a little too much for both of them. Yeah, you keep on enjoying yourself, Kisa Marie. Thank you for walking over. And look at that lynx tush. We love a good lynx butt, don't we? Yeah. Awesome, awesome. Glad we got to see Kisa Marie. I'm glad that darn cell phone service worked with us for just a moment. Vianney saying, finally, see you live. Hello, TWS and Judson. Welcome, Vianney. Glad to have you live with us. I'm making a little bit of a U-turn. I just don't think that cell phone service is going to hold on the backside of Small Cat Track. So we'll maybe see if we can spot some more servals kind of in the front of Small Cat Track. Karen saying, all settled in, looking at Kisa Marie. That's awesome. And she really has been, is making smart use of her indoor bedroom, making smart use of her shade spots on some of the warmer days we've been having, making use of her water sources, those extra water sources we've provided her. So settled in nice. Ellen Simmons loves a floofy lynx butt. I can only imagine the type of floof Kisa Marie is going to put on here come the winter months. It's incredible to see the difference in coats between our Lynx and particularly the Lynx and Bobcats from the winter and summer. Looking across the way for either Zambuca, Little Diva, or Scarlet. And it's just amazing how flat these servals can make themselves. As I'm looking in kind of areas like this, you can see the grass has little divots and patches in it. Well, that's because those are previous cuddle puddle sites. So it certainly takes a keen eye at times. I can only imagine maybe someone's hanging out back here. Oh, that means they're all having a big cuddle puddle inside. But maybe not. Of course, I think Zambuca heard me walk by and was like, let me just go and sit on my den box here the furthest away I can from them. We're gonna go walk over and say hi to Zambuca, and I think we will sign off on this lovely Friday here, folks. Summer every day in Florida, says Faith. Now that is nice. Tanya Toner asking, any tips on losing weight like the cats do? I could sure use some. Tanya, I've made this joke before and I will make it again. If on a weight management plan like she does with the cats, woo, man. That'd be the next, Ryan Gosling or, some type of debonair Zambuca. It's so cool to see how effective the caretakers are at what they do, isn't it? Hey, Mr. Pretty Blue-Eyed Zambuca. And we're talking about kind of difficult stories with Ava and the Peppers earlier and the conditions that they came from. Well, Zambuca has a very similar story in that he was found in a dilapidated house. Zambuca's owner had been hospitalized. Authorities came to the property and found Zambuca in a house along with a bunch of savanna cats. Zambuca was most likely being used as a stud to breed these savanna cats. You guys know our savannas, the hybrid rescues that are a hybrid cross between an African serval like Zambuca here and a domestic cat. Mr. Zambuca most likely was being used as a stud, so to be profited off of and for those savannas to be sold for profit. And Zambuca was living in conditions pretty much similar to Ava and the Peppers. Feces-addled, urine-addled, and not conditions for any animal, let alone a wildcat. And we always joke endearingly, Mr. Zambuca, that you have a grumpy face, but I don't think so much. I don't think so much. I think Zambuca is one of those cats, and many of those cats, that if they could talk, they'd have a lot to say and a lot to teach us about what some of these cats, like Mr. Zambuca and so many, have been through when they're put through these types of situations. When people aren't making the right decisions, they're making selfish decisions for their own vanity. And we don't want that, Mr. Zambuca, because that just means more cats in captivity, wild cats in captivity, and that's no good. Yeah, are you looking at my goofy feet? Yeah, sometimes the cats really like feet, don't you? Well, everyone, Zambuca's hanging out on his little den box here. I love he's got the kind of escape hatch right there. They also have another door right around the corner leading into their habitat. That was just a little extra window that the caretakers made once they noticed that it would benefit this group since they were all merged, and it certainly has. Yeah, why are you looking at my feet? Yeah, he says, let me take a closer look at those feet, bucko. All right, everyone, I hope you have a great and safe weekend. I'm looking forward to reading some of those weekend plans in the comments that I asked about when I wrap up this live post. But hey, I think it was a pretty solid day, everyone. We got to see a lot of cats, and really that's what's the most important to me. We got to do a lot of education and a lot of talking about why these cats are here at the Wildcat Sanctuary, the life that they live thanks to your support, and how we can continue to keep making a difference for those yet to come. And that's pretty cool if you ask me, Zambuca. That's pretty cool if you ask me, Goofy. So have an awesome weekend, everyone, and we will see you back here at the Wildcat Sanctuary tomorrow. Adios. Not tomorrow. Not tomorrow, Zambuca. I got all types of word spaghetti. We'll see you back here on Monday, folks. Have a great weekend.